Hi, Dr. Lim here. In our last video, we talked about our ex-partner in Thailand who was facing problem with the imitator and wished to join back with DXN. Between Malaysia and Thailand, there is a duty-free zone where people from both countries can come to shop, play golf or enjoy good food without the need to chop the passport. We meet at a duty-free place and I do not want to risk anything to meet them in Thailand. During the meeting, they told me the problem faced by them. They form a company with the imitator, each one holding 49%. Then one marketing motivator, who is a Thai, holding 2%. Then they soon found that the products from the imitator were deteriorating and no longer effective. Before that, when they visit the office of the imitator, they found that there's a lot of DXN products was there. The imitator told them they were the supplier of DXN. At first, the ex-partner believed the rumors. Later visit, they found a lot of DXN discarded bottles and grew suspicious and found that actually, initially the imitator bought the products of DXN, then changed the contents into the bottles. At first, the products were effective, as it is basically they were DXN products. Only then they would change the bottles into their bottles. Eventually, the imitator took the products elsewhere and started to supply them, and the quality deteriorated quickly. And this is the first problem they are facing. Secondly, the imitator couldn't speak proper English, but his wife could speak fluent Thai, as is the Malaysian Thai. But the wife knew nothing about genotherapy, and all training has to be done by the Thai trainer. And the Thai trainer was trained by me. And basically, they were using the genotherapy of DXN. This was the second problem. Third, when they asked to visit the farm and factory, the imitator brought them to the factory and the farm of DXN. Then they use Photoshop to modify the photo and put in their company name and logo. But they forgot the DXN logo in the background and become a big joke in the market. Fourth was the imitator using the supply of products to threaten them into submission. If they refuse to cooperate or ask too many questions, then they will delay the products. Not only that, sometimes the market was active and suddenly the imitator was short of products. Apparently, they got the products from the third party and the supply chain was not smooth. Lastly, also the most deadly problem was the imitator planned to take over the company completely. They gang up with the trainer and told the ex-partner of DXN that now the imitator group have 51%. They all have to listen to the imitator. All the bank accounts will be in their signatory and etc. I was on my last to date after listening to his problem. I thought he must be an idiot as when he joined hand with DXN, he was a major shareholder. Then why out of a sudden join hand with some imitator and become a smaller shareholder? He told me he was influenced and cheated by the imitator. That they hold the technology and supply it to DXN. And the owner of the factory and the farm of DXN actually is by the family and not by Dr. Lim. And show them the fake certificate that they were the owner of the farm and factory and DXN only owned the marketing company. I told them he must be an idiot as in Malaysia, you can go to the ROC to check who is the owner of any company, how much the sales the company is making, and how much tax the company is paid. How could you just believe some NGO-looking moron, just looking at some certificate of paper which is easily engineered? About the share, he told me the imitator promised him he could run the company freely. And after joining hand with DXN, under the one world, one market policy, changing a marketing plan was totally prohibited. And changing a label will need to be approved by the HQ. Now the imitator promised heaven and earth to them. They were free to change anything of their liking and have 100% freedom. I told the ex-partner, many so-called M&M companies were not trustworthy at all. During the OPP, they painted a very rosy image of the company when you join them, like Pasu. The real scenario was not what they promised. At least DXN, we comply with what we said. We never break our promise. When the imitator finally knew I terminated the ex-partners, then the true color started to emerge. First, they gang up with the Thai speaker who hold 2% and claim that they are the majority shareholder now. Next, they wanted to control the bank account and all the computer data. If anyone refused to cooperate, then they will stop the supply of the product to them. I never saw such a stupid company like our imitator. First, the JV with some local partners, then try to grab the controlling power from them. Later, I can tell you, how they fail in Philippines, Indonesia, Middle East, Latin America, even in Asia Minor. Everywhere DXN went, they must follow. And they couldn't compete with DXN in terms of technology and marketing skill. Then they always created fake stories and rumors. At the end, members found out about that, and their partner always broke up with them. Then many of the members joined DXN. Then we leave it to the future storytelling and very entertaining for your coffee time. Come back to our poor ex-partner. He wanted to join hands with DXN again. I flatly rejected him. I told him, he has shown gun to me and it is too risky for me to join hands with him. Just like Pasu, he requested again and again. At the time, the Taiwanese company were facing serious competition from DXN and losing the market. They also contacted them to form a new company. There were a few new imitators of DXN and they approached them too. My brother Bundy was around during the meeting. He told me if we do not accept them back, the imitator and other competitors may chip in. I never worry about imitators or competitors. Come as they may, and let us compete squarely in the market. The meeting failed and I refused to accept them back. Then they continued to request Bundy to come back to DXN, and my relative in Thailand also came to know and told Bundy. Many of the leaders making tons of noises and wanted to follow back to DXN, and openly said they wanted to be trained by me again. This was a difficult and tricky situation. That time I was focused fully in Indonesia and very reluctant to handle the problem in Thailand. And we already started a new DXN Thai and 100% handled by the HQ, and the sales are picking up. Eventually, the ex-members sent a representative who can speak Malay to come to meet me. If they join by DXN individually, their hierarchy will be broken into pieces now. They wish DXN could take over the company or buy it over, which I was not interested at all. So my ex-partner were good at showing the gun, even though I'm not afraid of them, but why should I take the risk? I thought it was due to the pressure from the ex-member. The ex-partners came to meet me again and told me whatever condition I could ask, and they were ready to consider. When things were developed to this extent, keep on rejecting them may not be good, as eventually they may join some other imitators and our ex-members will become our competitors to DXN members. I told them I was not interested to join hands with them again. But they can become the main stockists for DXN and perform the market freely. This is the same model as we applied in the Middle East till today. So for overseas, DXN applied the either or policy. Either the bunch is 100% owned by DXN or 100% the main stock agency. So that our one world, one market policy can be strictly implemented. So if any agency, they try to challenge this one world, one market policy, we can remove them. Many people took the one world, one world, one market for granted. They do not know how much effort behind the scene we put in to make sure it is working. Once the ex-partner got my green light, they shifted back to DXN as main stockist. When the imitator tried to grab the company back, the ex-partner used the same dirty techniques again, showing the gun to the imitator. When they told me the story, they do not forget to tell me this time they saw a James Bond gun, and two at a time. The competitor ran away now like a frightened cat. Not like me who threatened them back. This was story and I'm almost laughing to death again. This is a story in Thailand. Now, Thai is a major market for DXN, and the visitors to our farm and factories to this day, more members from Thai than Malaysia actually. The story is a bit violent in nature, though. But the violence is not from DXN. We are just responding to the external threat. In Sunya, we always told Sunyati, compassion and love should be based on no conditions. We should love and be compassionate to others unconditionally. We cannot say that if you agree with me, then I love you. If you don't agree, then go to hell and burn by the fire forever. But peace is always conditional, because peace need two parties, no, to achieve the peaceful state. We always want peace, no, but the other party should want peace too. When only peace can exist. If you want peace and the other party show the gun to you, then how to get peace? In the early day, the accent was threatened a few times. Not only in Thailand, someone showed the gun to me. In Indonesia, it happened again. Not by our partners or members, but by the stupid lawyer whom we terminated his service. This I shall tell you in our future story. We always respond firmly, when we face the threat, and we never back off. This is not a present story, but the world is not perfect, You don't always get fairy tales and romantic stories. For me, it is better to tell you the real and actual story. Then you can see how imperfect this world is. But at the end of the day, we overcame it and become successful, because we never cheat and harm people, and the results are always good at the end. Good cause always lead to good results and effect. In my next video, I shall tell you the story of DXN Indonesia, the first major market for DXN. It is also very dramatic, and you may not forget once you listen to it. See you all again. Bye-bye.